Let us cut to the chase right away. The Door is the most moving, most heart-wrenching episode of Season 6 so far. It hits new heights on the emotion meter, even considering Jon Snow has been resurrected earlier this season. Hodor, Summer, the Three-Eyed Raven, and all the children of the forest we have ever seen are dead. They died saving Bran and Meera. Bran's way is completely up in the air from here. But let's wait a minute. Let's think this through before we talk about the way ahead. So, what happened? Bran made a mistake that apparently led the White Walkers to the cave. When the White Walkers finally attack, Bran is caught in a vision of the past. The Three-Eyed Raven is trying to wake him up from inside the vision, while Meera is trying to wake him up from without. The Three-Eyed Raven stays behind, while Bran, Meera, and Hodor flee. Bran is either halfway in his visions and halfway in the present, or probably blinking in and out. Summer fights the attackers and dies, the children do the same, the Three-Eyed Raven dies without any kind of fight. Finally, Leaf sacrifices herself. What happens then is fantastic, touching, incredibly sad, and not very well understood actually. Meera tells Hodor to hold the door, to keep their pursuers out. She screams at him, and he does. With an iron dedication, he sacrifices himself. He keeps the door closed with his huge body, while the attackers start to hurt him through the holes they poke in the door. Bran hears Meera shouting inside his vision, which he is apparently still in. Finally, we see young Hodor collapse in what looks like an epileptic fit. His eyes turn backward and become white, which might also indicate warging. Most people simply assume that Bran was warging Hodor, not only in the present, but also in the past. But was he? Usually, when he walks someone, he basically passes out completely. The same is true for his visions. Whenever he's in a vision, he passes out. This time it seems he's warging present Hodor, having a vision, hearing present Meera, and warging past Hodor at the same time. And who exactly is warging past Hodor if that's true? Is it Bran from the present? Or is Bran somehow warging him from inside the vision? One thing is pretty clear here. The events in the present at the cave are influencing the past, or have influenced it, if you will. But how exactly? What was it that broke past Hodor's mind? It seems warging present Hodor did the job. Bran warged present Hodor on purpose, so much is clear. But why was he also still inside the vision? And why did it affect past Hodor at all? It certainly did not seem like Bran was warging past Hodor on purpose or something. My best explanation at this point is that Bran, basically splitting his mind 3 or even 4 ways, messed it all up. He was in Hodor and in the past, so somehow he also slipped into past Hodor's mind. And since he was also in the present, hearing Meera's voice, all that confusion ended up in Hodor's head. Well, that might be correct or not. It's how I understood what I saw anyway. However, there are still things we don't know. Why was Bran able to split his mind like that? He's never done that before. And why did he? It's pretty clear that he enjoyed his visions of the past very much. But why did he not immediately and completely go back to the present as soon as he knew that the attack was underway? It seemed that it would have been the preferable course of action to end the vision and concentrate on warging present Hodor. If he had done that, Hodor would never have become simple-minded in the first place. So why not do exactly that? We have no idea. We'll have to wait and see and hope for an explanation. The other thing here is, of course, the paradoxical nature of time travel. Game of Thrones might have opened Pandora's box here, and I am not sure if they will be able to get the lid back on without Uncle George lending a hand. People are already all over the internet with theories how the whole history of Westeros is basically the story of Bran Stark shaping the world. It might be intriguing to fantasize about that, but I doubt that it would be great if that were true. That's for 3 reasons. Time travel is messy, and too much time travel tends to get ridiculous. It would make the actions of all other characters relatively meaningless, And it would raise the question why the history of Westeros is still so messed up if Bran can simply change it. At this point, it seems that the show is going with the concept of causal loops. That basically means that what happens in the future can influence the past, but the past will then always have been the same. In other words, Bran will never be able to change what we have seen happening. That sounds fine and nice and all, but it's still paradoxical. Let's put it like this. If Bran used his visions to drive King Aerys mad, as some claim, why did he do it? Probably because he knew that it would have to happen like that. But why did he know that? Because he knew that he drove him crazy in the first place, and therefore he has to drive him crazy. That's your causal loop right there. But how do you ever enter a loop like that? In that scenario, there is never a real reason for Bran to do what he does. There is no point at which Bran understands why he must drive Aerys crazy. When Bran is born, it has already happened, and since it has already happened, he won't be able to change it. It can't be like that. Bran can't change the past only because he knows that he has already done it, because that still implicates the existence of a reality in which Bran had a real reason to drive Aerys mad. But that's exactly what's not possible with a causal loop. You can't change the past. You can only make the past what it has always been in the first place, from the future. This is the kind of stuff that you usually don't want to explore too deeply, because it gets weird and confusing. I hope the showrunners agree. This is not Back to the Future. This is a drama. This is epic. There can only be so much weirdness before it starts to hurt the story. Also, Bran is not a villain. He didn't break Hodor's mind on purpose. And it is not evil that he sacrificed Hodor to save himself. Bran knows that he has to survive, because he will have to play a big part in saving humanity. It's not fun or nice, but better one man dies than all of Westeros. Bran is not evil. He's not a villain. Being evil or not is not a question of making sacrifices. It's mainly a question of what you sacrifice for. And Bran is making sacrifices to save humanity. One more thing here. Do the White Walkers want to kill Bran? Or do they only want to have him on their team? This didn't necessarily look like aggression. And by the way, I don't think that children are evil either. There is only time for some more quick remarks. Arya seemed to take a couple of steps backward in her training. This is going to come to an end. She will either succeed and be sent to Westeros or flee. Sansa has the right of it. Littlefinger has either been an idiot or he's her enemy. She should not trust him. Euron is more of a lunatic than he seemed. Let's go murder them. That's not a very nice thing to say. Why not let the girl and the crippled eunuch flee? Also, I didn't like that no Ironborn seemed to hesitate to obey. And how exactly are they going to build 1,000 ships? 1,000 ships is a ridiculously large number of ships to build in a relatively short time. This would take years, even if we were talking about simple longships here, which doesn't really seem to be the case. Is this sloppy storytelling? Or will Euron fail spectacularly and this is only meant to show that he doesn't know what he's talking about? Alright, this wraps it up for The Door. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and visit the shit out of our blog.